Welcome back, guys. Thanks for joining me for another beer review. If you're new to the channel, this is All the Beer No Idea. My name is Baz. I'm your host. I'm the bloke that does all the talking. And yeah, so that's it. Now you know. Now you know, don't you? Anyway, we're looking at a beer now. Over there, there's a machine just there in your screen. It's called the Beermonster 5 litre mini draft keg machine. Beermonster it's called. It takes the 5 litre mini kegs, and we've got a beer now from Lord's Brewing, and this is a keg of their Deltic Golden Ale. Had to check on my little menu thing that is there. I'm going to do a lot of checking on this one. Yeah, 5 litre mini keg of Deltic Golden Ale from Lord's Brewing, or from Huddersfield. 3.8%. This coming at about, I think it was £16.50, I think it was, instead of £22, £22.50. They had an offer on, so I thought, right, let's get it in. So it's sitting in that machine over there. It is currently set at about 6 degrees, I think it is. So any second now, we'll pause the video, do a video of the pour, come back and take the review from there. So let's get going. So I've got the machine set at 5-6 degrees, I think I said it was. I've given it a bit of gas, so let's get it poured and see what we get. Golden Ale, traditional style beer if you like. It's a real ale it's going to be. Not a style, I don't mind a golden ale, but it's not a style I'm a massive fan of. Well, I say not a massive fan, it's not a go-to style for me. It's the sort of style that I'm quite happy to have the odd one or two here and there, which probably makes you ask the question, why the hell did you buy a keg, Baz? And we'll get back to that in a bit. So, we're back. Beer in a glass. And back to the why the hell did you buy that kind of beer if you're not a big fan of the style. Well, I do like it, like I said. But why did I buy it? Because I can. Because I can, and I like trying different stuff. So, now we've got that cleared up. Beer in a glass. It's a golden amber hazy beer. Not an awful lot of carbonation going up off there. We've got literally just a dusting of white. It was about half a finger. But it's a real ale. They don't tend to be heavily carbonated. They do lose their head pretty quick, these sort of beers. But it looks like it should. So let's dive in on the nose and see what we get. If I can do it without spilling it, and I can't. Not a lot coming off it, to be honest. Yeah, a bit more there. Malty, cracker-like, a little bit of sweetness in there. Maybe a little hint of caramel. But I'm not really picking up a big hoppy aroma that I would sort of, I say big hoppy aroma, a hoppy aroma that I would expect from a golden ale. It's a little bit muted, shall we say. A bit muted on the aromas. So let's stop waffling, dive in on Lord's Deltic Golden Ale, 3.8%, see what we get. Cheers. Okay, let's go in again. Right, for me, I've got it set at about 6, saying 43 on there. I think that is about 6 degrees. I'm not convinced the beer is currently at that. The body of the beer, 3.8%. It does feel a little bit wishy-washy, a little bit watery, dare I say it. I've done their Fell Runner Pale Ale. That was already sort of set at 6-7 degrees. I don't think it got any colder. This has been set a little bit lower and I've had to get it up to that temp. I'm not sure it's quite at that temp. And for me, if it's not quite at that temp, that does affect the body. So I do think the body, you know, if the body is right and the temperature's right and everything, I say the body's right. If the temperature's right, for me, the body does feel a little bit wishy-washy, a little bit watery. But that could just be me. Carbonation wise, it is quite lively. You can get that with some golden ales, but really if it's a real ale, you shouldn't be getting too much carbonation. I've got a cat that wants to come in, which is about right. I'm doing a review. Bear with me. Bloody cats do my head in. Where were we? Carbonation is quite lively, I would say, for a golden ale, but you do get a bit of fizz in some of these golden ales. The liquid behind the carbonation is quite smooth. It's not the softest of beers. Really, it's very sort of run of the mill at the moment. Very sort of standard sort of golden ale, which for a lot of people, they're going to love that. Here we go. Cat's going to come in and see, there you go. Try and take part in the video. Let's give you some tasting notes. For me, to start off with, you get a light malty sweetness, personally, when you start drinking it. I'm a good halfway down this beer now. Bear with me. You going in there? Right. Got an old cat. She's very temperamental. Where were we? Right. To start off with, when you first start drinking the beer, you get a malty kind of sweet malty beer with no sort of hops. The more you drink it, the more them hops come to the front. So for me, when I drink it, I get the hops. They tend to stand out more. A little bit of bitterness. For me, a little bit of caramel, sort of a malty caramel note coming in just behind it. And then it's after that sort of malty cracker sort of feel is coming in the mouth. I'm getting a lingering bitterness. And golden ales aren't really supposed to be massively bitter. And I think with this one, what I'm getting is the bitterness is kind of, you get it to start off with, and then it kind of sticks to your palate, and it lingers, and then you have another mouthful, and it lingers more. Now, whether that would wear off over time, I don't know, but at the moment, I'm finding that bitterness is just getting a little bit stronger. It's not massive bitterness, but it lingers, like I said. 3.8%. Hang on, cat. Oh, God. Sorry. First it wants the scratch to come in, then it wants to get behind the curtain. It's 19 years old. It's deaf, it's got arthritis, it's very weak, and it's like flying across tables and fish tanks. Right, anyway, where was I? 3.8%. You don't get that. Well, I say you don't get it. You don't get it. But it certainly has a taste of... certainly, if somebody told you that was 4.5%, anywhere from like 3.8 to 4.5%, you couldn't argue, because it has that little bit of oomph about it in the taste. So even though it's a weaker beer, you do get quite a... not strong tasting beer, but pretty much a full flavour sort of beer going on. I think there is a little bit of fruity notes in there as well. Yeah, that sort of typical sort of fruity hop note that you get in the beer. Is it any good? Well, like I say, I don't mind a golden ale, but I'm not a massive fan of them. It's one of them that I like to drink here and there. For me, it's 3.8%. So where I will give it credit is it does have the flavour of a bigger beer. For me, it doesn't blow me mind. I would like a bit more bigger maltiness in there. I'd like maybe a bit more of a caramel note in there. Something a little bit fuller. This just feels a little bit light personally for me. But if a golden ale is your sort of go-to drink, excuse me, whew, filling up with gas there. If a golden ale is your kind of go-to drink, I think you'll like it. And the fact that it is a little bit lighter than maybe some of the ones that you might get, 4.2, 4.5, that is going to suit you down to the ground. So for me, although it's not one that I would necessarily go back to, even though I have to because I've got a keg of it, which to be honest won't be too much of an issue, even though it's not my kind of thing necessarily, I think the ale drinker will like it. So if you ever see Lord's Brewing Deltic Golden Ale in the pub somewhere, or if you're out in Huddersfield and you go to Lord's Brewing, give it a go. It's not too bad, to be honest, if not my thing. That's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you all for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Christmas holidays, and I will see you again soon on another beer review. Cheers.